Hey. I've been doing church since like 7:30 in the morning for like 5 hours today. But anyway, I want to give a quick update because some cool things happened earlier, and I know I used to give updates about all my various churches on here a lot, and I've stopped doing that to protect every single church involved from me. But when God does cool things, I like to talk about it. So I'll just keep it very vague. But see if I can remember what they were. So I went to this thing today, and what was the first thing? I had, I think this morning, I was in bed, had woken up early, and watched this online message on YouTube of one of the churches that I actually haven't been to for a while, but sometimes go to. Either that was this morning or last night. I don't remember. It was within 24 hours, though. It was like I was in bed. It was either when I was going to bed or when I woke up this morning. I literally don't remember. And then, and it was this guy speaking who has left that church. I think he was there as like an intern pastor, or I don't know what, some sort of a temporary time period, and then he left, and then for whatever reason he was speaking again, and so I watched it. I was just curious, about the message, so I watched that one, went on with life. Then I went to my regular church today. We were getting ready for a thing, and I could have swore I saw that same guy, but this is a whole completely different church. And I was like, what is going on? But then there were so many people and like stuff, we were busy. And then all of a sudden I saw him again. I was like, that's this guy. I'm pretty sure it's the guy. So I had to go, and I'm like, I got to talk to this guy. And say I don't know him personally, right? It's not like I ever spoke to him in my life before, but I've seen him on YouTube. And so then I went up and I asked him, I'm like, are you so-and-so, like, are you whatever affiliated with this other church or whatever? I don't know how I asked him, but like in essence, is this the same guy? And yes, it is the same guy. So, but now he works at this other church where I was at today. I'm like, how weird is that? That two of my churches, the one guy like that I just had heard speaking accidentally within like 24 hours, like now he's in front of my face at this other church. And what was also interesting was my own reaction to it, because when I have seen him in the past, I will react to him a certain way. There's certain pastors I like better than others, and certain people resonate with me better than others, and I will immediately have my own like judgment and assessment of what I think about this guy, seeing him in this other environment. But then seeing him in this new environment, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I love this guy. Even though this is the same guy, all that has changed is my comfort level and openness and more loving heart towards him in this new environment. Isn't that crazy? So that's like some self-reflection I need to do there. But I thought that was interesting. That was very interesting to see the same person. And then something else like that happened. I'm trying to remember what was the second thing. I can't remember off the top of my head. It'll come to me. And then I was walking. The third thing, until I remember the other one, was I was walking with these three people. And then they must have previously had a conversation with this one lady and this other woman about like coins. Like this lady is always like seeing coins or whatever it is, and somehow these are like her little God moments or something. God speaks to her through these coins or whatever. I wasn't there for the conversation, but all of a sudden I'm clueless because I was just in with them at the very end, right? So we're walking down the hallway. All of a sudden there's this really bright shiny penny in the middle of the hallway, and I'm thinking, oh, find a penny, pick it up, have good luck, right? I pick up this penny and I'm like, oh, just found a penny. And then the two of them look at each other like they can't believe that this just happened. And then they kind of fill me in about how, it's like a thing for this one lady. And so I'm like, well, clearly this is your penny. So I gave her the penny. And I thought that was cool that God was moving for her in that way. And then what was the third thing? Hold on, let me just pause this for 1 sec while I try and remember. Okay, I remembered the other thing. So yesterday I was kind of doing some estate stuff for my kids. The official document, like, box to put the stuff in is called Knockbox, Next of Kin box. But I wasn't working on that. I have this other book that's called something like I'm Dead Now What or something. And that's what I was working on yesterday. And now I haven't got my estate's like paperwork all completed yet, but I did find it's a little bit more of a Christian lawyer, like a firm, which is rare. So I'm like, I gotta for sure use these people when I do that. And so I'm getting ready for that. But I want to have some of my other like records organized before I move forward with the paperwork, because I want to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row and have everything ready for when I am paying money for someone to help me with the will and the power of attorneys and all of the various things. Anyway, so yesterday I had done my property taxes is what it was. And it was so annoying to me to like log in to the tax website and then the state's website and my various passcodes for this and that, and to get into this laptop that I almost never use and all of my various logins. And I was just like, I'm like, clearly this needs to be written down I know where all my notes are, but in a more legible way for like my children or whoever, And so I was taking that time while I was doing it to put the information in this book. Now, I'm Dead Now What, for my kids. And I filled out a lot of pages, and I filled out like the pages of like who to notify if you die, and I was putting in various, because I go to so many churches, or I suppose in their mind I don't come because I'm never there, but in my own mind I'm watching all 3 churches every week, so I go to all of them, even if I might occasionally just visit. They're still all my churches because I do watch them all every week. And I would put in, even people like various pastors, like tell this person if I'm dead, and tell that person. I'm like, it drew my attention to like how I was even noting the pastors of these various churches and all of that, and along with different friends and family and all of that. And then I wrote a section at the end specifically to my children, how they should take care of each other and not fight and not have dividing walls of hostility between them, and like just not let anything that happens with me put a wall between them, right? To put their relationship first and foremost above everything, and like I'll be fine, right? I'm dead already. And I was just giving them just words of wisdom and advice as their mother on these pages, because the book has spots for that where you would do that. And it wasn't like well thought out or articulated or even like in full sentences. Some of it was just phrases, but I was doing that. I was spending time yesterday doing this for my kids. And then this was the first thing, actually. And so then I had gone to this event today, and they had us all to do in huddle, and then the lady was gonna pray and stuff, and she started talking about how her mother had recently died, and her mother had, when she was healthy, just randomly one day like did all her stuff to get all of her affairs in order, and in essence make it easy for her children when she passed away. And then like 3 years later the mom was dead, and the lady was so appreciative of her mom for like taking the time to like make that easy. And I don't even know why she brought up this story. Like I'm not sure how it even fit in to the conversation of what we were talking about, but probably because I was distracted, because it so stood out to me that she was talking about this, her mom taking the time to do this estate planning stuff while she was perfectly healthy and fine. And then now they're using it and how it has helped the family. And I was like, I just was doing this yesterday, right? And then also to have the thing with where the other pastor was like, I literally just heard him spoke, and now he's right here, right? And we had a conversation about it. And then the penny thing. But things like that, like I know God is moving in this situation at this one church, which I can't talk about, and I'm not going to talk about to respect their privacy, but it's nice to see it. It's nice to see when God moves in those little ways. And then another thing I wanted to point out was I have noticed that there are people who, when these kinds of things happen, like me, they're like, oh, that's God. That's God. God's doing that. That's a God moment. And other people, they'll blow it off and be like, no, that's not God. No, that's not God. But the people who are saying, no, that's not God, are always the people who are like, but I'm having trouble hearing from God. I don't know if God is speaking to me. How exactly do you hear from God? And they're like, well, I don't want it to just be like random coincidences. I want it to be where I know it's God. But yet, if God is doing these things in their life, and they're not seeing it for God when it is God, that's why you're thinking God's not around, or you can't hear God and you can't see God, right? You have to accept that sometimes those things are God. Kind of like what we talked about in that video about is Isaac and Rebecca, where we were talking about the coincidence after coincidence after coincidence after coincidence that happens when the guy goes and gets Rebecca and brings her back to whoever, Isaac, I don't know. I don't even know the story. But when you read it in the Bible, I think it's in Genesis, or it's really early on in the Bible, it's this happened and this happened and this happened and this just so happened. It's like all these coincidences. That is how God moves. So when God does those things in real life, you want to be like, oh, that's God. God's moving here. And I think they had told us, one of the pastors said something about like, when you see God moving, go there. I love that. He was like, when you see God moving, go there. I can't remember which pastor even said it, but there's truth in that. I think that's enough for today. I have other things I could talk about, but try to keep these videos not too long. Anyway, I just wanted to record those things. Oh, and then I hadn't been to this other church. I thought, well, my first two churches were hit up this morning between like 7:30 and 10:30 in a weird random way. So I'm going to stop and go to the third church that I haven't been to forever. Since I'm dressed and out and about and within 15 minutes, So then I went there today, and he talked about the importance of discussing what you've seen and heard and experienced with Jesus and with God. And there is such value in doing that. And I find myself struggling when I do these videos all the time, because it's like I watch other people's videos and they're doing a lot of you should do this, you should do that, and they're talking to the audience or whoever's listening like I'm the wise one giving you all the advice. And I don't really do that. Mine are always like, but I'm not trying to have it be me, look at me. It's not about that. But my stories are just like, I've experienced this, I saw this, I heard this, right? I've experienced this, and it's my personal just stories. Pointing to, though, Jesus. Look what Jesus did here. Look what Jesus did here, right? Look what God did here. Look at this. This is what I saw. This is what I heard. This is what I experienced. And so that's why sometimes I struggle with it, because it sounds very like me. But it's not. It's Jesus. And I would encourage other people to do the same. Whatever your stories are, see it when it actually is God. Don't think like, oh, that's not God. It actually most of the time probably is. And share it. Share what you've seen. Share what you've heard. Share what you've experienced. And there's value in that. Anyway, have an awesome day. Bye.